I'm kidding. Hello. It's been a minute since I filmed anything. I've been super busy with school. This senior semester is honestly kind of kicking my ass, but it's okay. We'll get through it. That's not what I'm here to talk about. But since I haven't made videos in a minute, I just kind of wanted to sit down and do like a classic like glam look and a get ready with me and just chat and like talk about whatever comes to mind and go through all the steps that I'm doing just to kind of give you guys in depth. I think I've changed a few of my techniques, not everything. I have some new products I want to share with you guys and talk about. Also, last thing, this is a bralette. It is covered down here. I'm not just naked. I just didn't want to get any makeup all over the shirt I was wearing. But yeah, so I'm going to prime my face. I actually just got this e.l.f. hydrating primer, and you know I like the e.l.f. poreless face primer, but as it's getting a lot colder right now, my face is just so much drier, especially like in this area and like around my chin. So I wanted to try something that would just boost my moisture levels. That sounds so weird. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be starting with first, and then we are going to jump into foundation and all that. So I like this primer because it's a little bit thinner and has more of like a lotiony feel, less of that like silicone feel that the other one has, the poreless face primer. So yeah, I'm a big fan. So far I haven't had any problems with it. I've only been using it the past few days, but so I guess we'll see. But yeah, I'm really liking the feeling. It just feels like very, very light, smooth. Like, I feel hydrated. Does my skin look hydrated? Let me know in the comments below. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so foundation. Also, I am making this a Wine Wednesday, even though it is Thursday right now, and I probably won't upload this until Sunday. Doesn't matter. Time is but a relevant concept. I've had such a long, like, annoying week that I just wanted to sit down, film, relax, chit chat, you know, and have my wine. So if you're actually watching this and you're over 21, get yourself a glass of wine and just sit back because it's gonna be probably a longer video, and I just wanna just chat. Like, I don't have a lot of friends that are super super into makeup that I like the way that I am. I do have friends that are into makeup, but I have a lot of friends who are not into makeup at all. Like, couldn't care less. So this is kind of like, I like this as an outlet to kind of like hang out with myself, which sounds so sad and lame. Please don't think of it that way. More of like cultivating a community of people who share the same interests and just want to talk about it and want to spill the tea with me about the new Kat Von D tattoo liner or whatever. Like the Jouer Cosmetics concealers. Really want to try those. So foundation is going to be a little different than usual. I know I either use the Lancome Tenti Doll or I use the Fenty foundation, but since my skin has been dry, I went into Sephora and I got these two little samples because I want full coverage still, but I don't want it to be super matte and drying and where I get those like cakey flakies around here that I just think are like the worst. I hate that. I hate when I see that on my face or on anyone else's, and I know it's like, it's not your fault. It's hard to combat that, especially throughout the day. So I went in looking for a more moisturizing, hydrating, full coverage foundation, which is also hard because I'm so fair. Like, maybe you can't tell in the video, maybe you can, but like, I am an incredibly, incredibly pale, fair person. So it's hard to often find shades that go as light as me or like go as light as me and have the right undertone. So what I've tried out are NARS and Marc Jacobs foundations. So for today, I think I'm actually going to be using the Marc Jacobs one just because the last 2 days I've been using the NARS, so why not just go into the Marc Jacobs Shameless Foundation in the shade Fair Y110. So I'm just going to do that, and they recommend to apply it with a brush first. Oh, and they put so much product in here. It's honestly, these were free, by the way, so helpful, and so much product in there. Like, I've already used this twice, and there's still plenty left. So yeah, if you've ever felt uncomfortable, like trying to find the right shade for you or the right foundation, just go in and talk to someone. And maybe the first person you talk to won't be the best person, but that's okay. Ask around. Ask what people's skin types are and what their favorite brand or product for that skin type is, because you will find answers. And if anything, they'll give you a sample that you can take home and try for yourself. So I think that's pretty awesome. Hi, hello. So this is obviously not a foundation brush. I got this brush in my boxy charm, and it's supposed to be like for eyeliner and carving out your eyebrows and whatnot, but it's working pretty good for this. Gosh, I look gorgeous. And get to blending this out with a beauty blender, damp beauty blender always. You guys, I don't know if you know, but I accidentally bought 3 of the Morphe ones online, and I'm now obsessed with them. They are honestly, I think, better than Beauty Blender just because they're a little bigger and a little fluffier. And I'm not someone who buys Beauty Blender all the time. I usually get like the Ulta one or even Real Techniques or anything like that. Like I don't actually spend $20 on a sponge, which if you do, whatever, live your truth. But I just don't do that. And so when I found these, I think they're like $9 on Morphe.com, and you can also obviously use all the coupon codes that every influencer ever has. So, I don't know, I love these, and it's been lasting me so long, like, still on the first one, and I still love it. And this was, like, what, last month that I ordered these by accident? I meant to order 1, but I ordered 3, obviously. But they're great. They really, really, really are great. Like, I can't get enough of how, like, gentle and bouncy they are on your skin. It doesn't feel like you're, like, dragging anything across your face. Like, it feels like a nice, bouncy sponge. So, huge fan of this Morphe. I'm not a fan of every single thing Morphe does, but sometimes they really, really hit the nail on the head. And this is one of those times. If you're wondering why I keep looking up, there's a mirror above me. And wow, let's look at this coverage. Like, wow, even the breakouts on my neck, it's done a pretty good job of covering up. So I'm happy with that so far. It feels good. It feels light. Like, it doesn't feel like a heavy, cakey layer. So, like, overall, I've worn this, I think I said 2 times before, and I'm a big fan. Like, it works nice. It's just I'm having such trouble with the price point. I believe it's like $59 for a bottle, which is like, Mark, why? Of course, Tarte Shape Tape Fair Neutral, my go-to. Too much Shape Tape? Never. Now, I know I look ghastly pale right now and really bad because my lips are all crusted over, but a tip I have learned from watching a lot of makeup artists work, because I actually like to watch tutorials from like real makeup artists, not saying that people who do it online and stuff aren't talented in their own right or whatever. I'm technically not a real makeup artist. Like I don't have that certification or the schooling, but I'm super fascinated by those who do, and I love, 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 love getting tips from them. And I've been reading a lot and watching a lot about letting your foundation dry for a little bit, just kind of oxidizing actually is what they call it, and just making sure it gets to the right shade that it's going to dry in before you start adding any kind of crazy powders. And while you're doing this, it's really helpful to kind of like go back and maybe blend a little out. Like it's okay to keep pouncing over areas, especially creasy areas, because it will make the finished product look better. And you don't want to set something that's already creased, obviously, because then it's just going to stay creased. So just kind of going through and making sure everything looks blurred together. Like that's really the point of the beauty sponge like this, is to blur everything together and make it look like skin, not like anything sitting on top of your skin. So that's what I'm doing right now. Now I am going to go in with 2 personal favorites that I've just gotten. Elf is so underrated, you guys. I can't. Like, you need to go and check out Elf's products because I have started to use so much of them and I love them. They're such a good price and they're high quality and like the basics that you need. So if I could get this open, I'm going into the Elf Translucent Setting Powder. It looks super white, but it goes on completely translucent. And this Elf, I think it's the, what is it? The pointed powder brush. I heard about this from Eros MUA. If you know who that is, he's awesome. And he said these are better than all of his luxury brushes he uses. So I picked one up. I've been using it. I think it was maybe $6, and I'm absolutely sold. It just like lightly presses on the powder so well, especially in winter when I don't like to do too much baking because I do dry out. This still gives me a good way to seal in my makeup. So real quick, just gonna go blend these out real quick. Perfect. Now I like to get a lot on there and just ever so lightly tap it under my eyes, like as if I were baking. Then you can start to carry it to the rest of your face, such as your T-zone. I really like to make sure I'm getting my forehead. And again, these brushes are so light and fluffy that they really just like, ugh, it's like airbrushed. Yeah, and that, to me, is a very, very nice looking base. So I'm very happy with this. Again, these products are so cheap. They are at the, at like Target or Meijer, Walgreens, like any drugstore, like place you go to, I'm pretty sure they have these. So like I would 100% recommend them. Like I've become a huge e.l.f. gal recently. And so that leads us to our next step. The Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette. I've been hearing so much about this. It's a cult favorite. It's a classic. People live for it. And I was like, I need to try it because I've been just using the same big Milani bronzer for so long. I think I've had it for over a year. And it is a little bit orange, but it's nothing I would like freak out about. But I've heard such great things about this palette, especially for people with fair skin, because it's always hard for me to find contour that isn't too orange or contour that doesn't look too muddy or too bronzy. So this has just such a great, here, let me open it. First of all, the packaging is stunning, and it just has so many great shades. As you can see, I mainly use this one and this one, like mixed together, but this one would also be good if you had a little bit of a tan or whatever, but I think it's amazing for people with very fair skin who don't want to look muddy and just dusty, you know? So I really, really love this. I've been using it every single day since I got it, and I'm not like a contour everyday kind of gal. Like I'll skip it if I was going to class, but now I'm like, I'm not skipping my contour. It's amazing. To kick things off, I'm just going to take any kind of angled, fluffy contour brush like so, and I am going to be going into this color right here, or I'm sorry, I lied, this first color right here, which is a little bit more cool toned, and this one's a little bit more warm, so I'm going to be using this one to bronze up, and this one for the contour. Contour we're doing first, so let's just get into it. And these are so pigmented, but they're very buildable, so I just like to tap them off a little and assume the face. Like, can you see how that goes on very light, but it's obviously like, that's because I tapped off all the pigment. I could really build it up. I love that. That's what I'm looking for. A blendable, forgiving powder that I don't have to worry that every line I make is going to make me look like Jersey Shore from 2011. Love that. I just love it. It's so buildable and forgiving. Like, you can see how I stamped it on and it was not looking great. The second I start blending a little bit, it's beautiful. And I would also like the record to show that I have tried many other contour palettes. I've tried ABH, I have tried Smashbox, which was a pretty good one, but I think this one just really does it for me. Something about the tones in these colors and how easily blendable they are, this is a staple. Like, I'm going to keep this forever, and when I run out, I'm going to get a new one. I would recommend it to anyone, too. It is obviously pricier because it's Kat Von D and something that you would have to buy from Sephora or her website or whatever, but I do think the quality is really there. It'll last you probably a super long time. I can't say yet because that is new, but I would assume it would last you a long time, and especially for like the variant of colors you're getting, you're able to work through seasons as well, which I think is super important. Like, as you can see, I've just done my whole face contoured in that first color, and it does not look like too much. In fact, like, I'm going to end up adding to it, by kind of buffing it out, like, bronzing it out, I guess you could say. What was this? By bronzing it out. I'm going to be using this Eco Tools brush, also a drugstore brush, very inexpensive, super fluffy, and they're made by my girl, Alicia Silverstone, who I love, and people tell me I look like, which does not affect my bias of why I love her. Anyway, she's got great brushes, and they're environmentally friendly, which is sick. So I'm going to be jumping into the center color with this and kind of treating it more as like a bronzer, and buffing things out. And I'm going to just say right now, it's okay if things are getting a little messy down here, because the light colors allow us to be able to carve that and like kind of bake it out, which is my favorite part of the palette, actually. I just love this palette. Like, I actually can't get enough of it. So as you can probably see, that did a really good job of like blending everything together so there's no harsh lines, which I love. You guys know I hate harsh lines. Now I'm going to go into some blush, and then we will start the baking process for the lower half, because I like it to be a little bit more like a little more cut, you know? Today I'm going to get a lot of great stuff out of the I Want It All palette by Kylie Cosmetics. Super underrated palette in my opinion. I don't know that many people that got it. Me and my best friend Brooke got it like right when it came out, and we were so hype. I'm obsessed with like all the colors in here, honestly, and this highlighter, girl, let me tell you, I wear it a lot. It's blinding. It looks like it might be like too dark for fair skin, but it's totally not, and it blends in with blush oh so well. In fact, I'm going to show you. I'm going to use it today. But I'm going in right now with my Morphe M105 brush for blush into this color right here. It's called Cheers, and it's just like the perfect pinky blush. So when it comes to blush, my style may not fit everyone's. That's totally fine, but I like to add like a lot on the apples and really just kind of like blend it out more with the contour and just get some color continuation throughout the face. But yeah, so I just like to, you know, bring it kind of everywhere, fluff it up. We'll clean up this bottom part. And I like, with this highlighter especially, I love like the way it blends into each other. So first and foremost, we're going back into the Shade and Light palette. The only thing I would argue is a slight downfall is that there's a bit of fallout, but I don't think it's anything that you can't deal with. So I'm going to be taking this small Real Techniques brush into this white shade, this first white shade right here. I'm going underneath my eyes just to brighten things up, make sure the blush is not going too high. And now, my favorite part, we are going in with the end of the Beauty Blender that's still a little bit damp into the first shade again, and we're just going to use it like this and see how I have like a good amount on there. Use that to cut underneath the contour. Is there a word for that? Is it like carving or something? Like, what do you call it when you shape up your contour with the flat end of a Beauty Blender? What is it? And you don't need too much because this is a very pigmented powder. So I'm just going to let it sit for a little while, and then when we brush it off, things will look much smoother and sharper and more the way we want a contour to look. Step is to use this little white brush to get rid of the line we've created. And you can be gentle, just buff it out. Okay, perfect. And now we're gonna do spray number 1. I'm actually out of my favorite setting spray, the e.l.f. Beauty Shield Spray. e.l.f., if you ever see this or you hear this, I'm obsessed with your spray. I've been telling everyone to get it, and now every time I go to a Target, it is sold out, or an Ulta. So stop buying it, guys. Stop. It's fine. Anyway, this is the Master Fix by Maybelline. Pretty good, but a little drying, so we'll see. Now it is time for, you guessed it, highlighter part 1. Of course, going in with the shade Confetti in here. Love, love, love. And this tiny little Real Techniques brush. I'm actually obsessed with this brush, especially for highlight. I just get a good amount. Okay. Nice. Because I am also going to come back with my Anastasia Glow Kit, do my nose, inner corner of the eyes, like Cupid's bow, everything like that, and then, of course, put the Fenty Diamond Baller on top, because that's the highlighter of the year. Like, let's just be real with each other. It's so good. So sorry to exclude you from the brow extravaganza, but it's just so hard to film on camera. Like, the setup I have right now is so not professional, but I really can't get like good and close in there and see anything I'm doing, so we look like trash. So I have to do it off camera. But time with the Shade and Light palette, using the lightest color that I was using before. I'm just going to really brighten up the under eye and make sure it doesn't look like my blush and my eyeshadow are the exact same thing. I'm going to do my final spritz and finish my wine, brush my teeth, and then I'll come back for lips. Alright, so for lips, I'm going to be lining them with this L'Oreal Color Riche in the shade Nudes for Life, which same. And then I'm going to be using this Kat Von D liquid lipstick I got in my Boxy Charm, and the color is Hawkwind, and I'm actually obsessed with it. I've been wearing it a lot lately. The formula is so good. Like, no shade, Kylie, but it stays on longer than your formulas, so just throwing that out there. Yeah, let's get started. Perfect. I like to clean up the edges just a little with a Q-tip and spit. Glitter is holding up, and I will be right back. Alright, well, this is the completed, finalized look. If you guys can see everything. I know the lighting isn't great, but I had fun doing this. It felt so good to like sit down and actually film again. So if you liked this, or if you learned anything, or if you just want to give me a thumbs up, that would be so nice. Right down below. And also I'm going to link my Instagram if you could please follow me there. Yeah, I'm just so grateful for the people who actually care about what I care about doing, and yeah, it just means the world to me, so thank you.